Welcome back to 10 Touch Podcast. I am your host, Robbie, and I have Adam Nielsen on Zoom. And we were just,
hello, everybody.
We were just talking about how adulting is not fun. It sucks.
The worst. Genuinely the worst.
I spent hundreds of dollars this week.
Yeah.
On gravel.
Okay.
Because that's what adults do.
Why is gravel so expensive?
What the fuck? I did it again.
Damn it, Robbie.
My bad. I didn't mean to do that. We're
not fixing it, though. We're just going to keep going.
We're too far into the show already. I'm not going back.
We've come too far.
We are 36 seconds into the show. I'm not redoing that. I'm sorry.
No, we captured a moment here that we'll never be able to get back again.
No. This is live. You're hearing it Sunday, but it's live. There's no fixing it.
It's like a radio show.
Exactly. No, but I learned that 6 tons of gravel is...
That's a lot of gravel, Robbie.
Except that it's not.
It doesn't go very far, does it?
It's like 2 small dump trucks full.
It sounds like a lot.
6 tons does sound like a lot, because I'm talking on the phone with the lady, and I'm like, my driveway's really kind of level. It's just got some soft spots, and I'd like to fill those in and just kind of like level the whole thing and give it a good scrape. So I don't think I need a lot. And she goes, well, how much do you think needs gravel? I'm like, probably not the whole thing, but let's just say 200 feet of it. She goes, okay, well, you'll need about 6 tons. I'm like, are you sure? That seems like a lot. She goes, no, you'll need at least 6 tons for the itty bitty amount that I'm asking for. She was right. I could have used 6 tons more and still been fine.
That's so weird.
Yep. Came on Monday, just put 2 dumps on my driveway, use a skid loader to level it all out. And it really didn't look like it did a lot. It's just more level now. I just looked at it, I'm like, wow, spent a whole afternoon making that level. It cost me hundreds of dollars. Being an adult fucking sucks.
So you may have noticed today was rather windy.
It was quite windy. I didn't notice it until I drove home and got on the highway. It was just like the whole truck just took a shift.
Oh, it's so obnoxious. Well, they've already combined the corn out across the street, right?
Oh, fun.
They're already harvested. And which means every year my fucking driveway is full of corn stalks and corn leaves and bullshit again. It's so annoying.
Is it as bad as it was last year?
Oh, well, I mean, it's just the first day, but there's enough to piss me off.
Yeah, it's caught between the car and the house and the window wells and
all that
in
stuff.
The garage.
It's just there's so much of it, and I have to figure out a way to get rid of it all again. And it's so annoying. It's so expensive, and it makes me so angry.
What's the ethical ramifications of putting a snow fence across the street at the neighbor's yard? Just catch it before it crosses the road.
Well, across the road is the corn.
That's what I'm saying. Just put like a snow fence all the way down the. I'm just helping you, man.
I did it 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I did that for the snow. That was probably longer than that ago. I did that for the snow.
On their side or your side of the street?
Well, no. So I put it on my side one year, and I think that actually made things worse.
Yeah, I can see that. Your yard's not really big.
I don't think I could get far enough away from my driveway, and I think what was happening is the wind was whipping across the prairie, as it were, and then it would hit that snow fence, and it'd just go up, and all those snow would dump on the backside of the fence. So I think that actually made my drive worse.
Yeah,
so then we tried to cross the street the next year, and that didn't seem to really make a remarkable difference either.
No, probably not.
I think it was too far away.
That sucks.
Yeah, I just can't win.
My biggest fear now is that I just spent a bunch of money to put gravel down so that the first snow, we can just push it all up against my driveway or up against my shop.
That's why it was one of my requirements for when I bought this house that it be a paved driveway.
It's never been an issue, but it shouldn't be now because like I'm sitting there with a skid loader bucket pushing it back and forth and it's like just leveling it. It's not actually not moving it unless I'm digging deep into the gravel. But we'll find out the hard way, I guess. Maybe I can just order 6 tons more of gravel in the spring and just keep doing this.
So annoying.
No, I don't think it's been touched for like probably the better part of 20 years. So it was due for a little little maintenance, but it definitely wasn't bad.
Yeah, for sure.
So if I could just kind of forget about it for another 20 years, that'd be great.
Yeah. Adulting, man.
Yep.
It's gross.
This adulting rant was brought to you by James over at Kanga Motorsports. He's I've always assumed he's one of the smartest people we know.
Uh-huh.
And I assume that's why we don't see a lot of him on Facebook, because he's smart enough to say the fuck off Facebook right now.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming
I've seen a pretty large increase of people posting about how they're leaving Facebook as of late.
Well, I learned the hard way that Booney deleted Facebook or deactivated Facebook because I tagged him, and then
I saw that.
And it let me tag him, and then it untagged him after I'd already posted it.
Yep.
So, but yeah, for those that aren't in the group, I posted a picture of me holding a bratwurst and a bottle of ketchup, and I was about to squirt the ketchup onto the wiener, but I didn't actually do it. I just took it for the picture, but I wanted to harass Booney a little bit. And he didn't get to see it.
As you do.
I just like to harass people that have food preferences. I know Adam.
Yeah, I get that.
Adam hates ketchup because it's too spicy and can't put.
Not too spicy. It's just not. It's just not my thing, man. It's just not my thing.
We could talk about my food, my lucky catering I've gotten while we're working on the Porsche. We'll get to that later.
Oh, geez. I think I know where that's going already.
Yeah, good times.
That's not fair.
But, yeah. But speaking of Booney, if you need any of your fabrication work done, you can go to factoryfabrication.com. I also learned today that the Z has been leapfrogged, and the Porsche is getting done first. So, again, we'll talk about that later. Stick around.
So, actually, while I was looking at news articles, I found this this app, right?
Okay.
Everybody loves new apps, right? Put new apps on your phones, like more people can keep track of where you are and what you're doing and all that stuff.
Give all your information away. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So this one's the NHTSA, so it's government funded, so it's for sure stealing all of your information. Oh, excuse me. And it's called the Safer Car app, and you can download this thing and you can put your car, your spouse's car, your family member's car, your dumb not car friends' cars, all of that stuff in it. You can put other equipment, tires, jack stands, car seats, all kinds of stuff you can put in there. And then when there is a recall that is registered with the NHTSA, it will notify you about it.
Huh.
And I think this is kind of interesting because it's so hard to keep track of those things sometimes.
Yeah, actually, that's like super, super convenient. So you just type in your VIN number or like...
I think you just tell it what you have. I don't even know that you have to put in a VIN. Well, you might have to put in a VIN number.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt. Get more accurate.
I never tried a car. Let's try a car real quick because I didn't do that. I just put in my Recaro child seat. So what year's the Edge?
13.
No way. Let's do the truck. The truck's newer. Let's
18.
do the truck. 2018. 18.
Silverado.
Chevrolet. This is really kind of annoying that there's not like a drop-down menu system, and I have to actually type this out.
What a crappy app.
Well, it is the government. Silverado, you have a 3,500? Or, a 1,500?
Yes,
you
it's
have 1,500,
1,500,
right?
Yep.
This is terrible.
No drop-down menus at all for the cars?
No drop-down menus at all.
Every auto parts website in the world has those.
You have this.
eBay, Amazon have that too.
Look at that. You've got...
Oh, God, don't tell me. Many. Too many. Oh, God.
This vehicle may have unrepaired recalls. Add your VIN number to monitor new recalls affecting this car. So, yes, you do put your VIN in. There are 2 recalls currently active for this.
What are they? Let me know.
For this vehicle. Let me see if I can view them without putting in a VIN number. It's taking me to their website.
Oh,
it's thinking. Look at that, Robbie. A 5-star overall front crash, or 5-star overall front crash rating.
That's nice. That's good.
5-star front driver's side, 5-star front passenger side. That's cool.
Damn. I would survive a crash. Let's hope I never have to find out.
Well, front crash. Anyway.
Yeah, don't hit me from the... Well, I mean, I got the longer, the standard box, so they're further away from me. I don't really care about what's back there.
102 complaints.
They're all related to the transmission. Every one of them.
Ooh. Jeez. August 10th of 2020. Is this a complaint? Yes. Or is this an active... I don't fucking know.
I'll guarantee you it's a complaint about the transmission.
Well, so there's electrical system, powertrain, service and brakes, seat belts. There's 21 pages.
Oh, boy.
So I think this is people's complaints, not... Yes, this is... Oh, I'm figuring it out now. Recalls. 2 recalls.
Okay.
One for a software error may cause unintended braking. It was put in here in October 24th of 2019.
I haven't had that issue yet.
You probably have had that fixed already since it's been to a dealer since then.
Yeah,
and another
times.
one, September 6th of 2019. A vacuum pump may decrease power brake assist. As the vacuum level drops, the brake assist decreases, increasing braking effort, extending the distance required to stop the vehicle, thereby increasing the risk of a crash.
I've had neither of those that I've noticed.
The software error is that unattended activation of the driveline protection system will cause unintended braking on the wheel on the opposite side of the failed sensor, causing the vehicle to pull to one side unexpectedly, increasing the risk of a crash. I would say so.
Yeah, locking up one wheel. Yeah, of course it would.
Oh, my Lantis.
Yeah, that's worth fixing if you have that.
Yeah. So this is kind of interesting because it's just so hard to keep track of that stuff anymore, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know I've actually been kind of keeping track of the lawsuit against the 8-speed transmission just to see what comes out of it because people hate it so bad. I mean, it does have a weird shifting characteristic. I won't deny that, but everything else is fine. I can live with it.
Yeah.
But I can see why people were complaining about it.
Right. So I don't know. I thought this was cool because it would include lots of tires. Tires are interesting. I didn't even realize that there have been recalls on tires. I guess I just never thought about it as being a thing.
I remember the Firestone one.
Oh, that's right.
That one was awful.
Oh, man. On the Explorers?
Yeah.
Rollovers?
And weren't they on the RVs too?
That was a time. I think there was an RV one now that you say that. That I do vaguely remember as well.
I don't know if it was the same. I feel like that was like around the same time. I don't know if it was
probably the same time. It was almost certainly not the same tire.
I would hope not.
So, but I do remember that stuff.
Yeah, but this would be on the app.
Yeah. So
yeah, if Yokohama comes out and says their NTO5s are dangerous to drivers, and you use those.
Yeah, so I think it's something that's kind of an interesting, probably worth the download, and just put a bunch of stuff on your phone, because I think, I don't know about you, but I know that there's a lot of people who in my life, in the past, in the present, are like, oh, you're the car guy, so you'll keep track of this for me. Like my aunt has a Kia. Well, I don't fucking know what Kia's doing, but I'm sure that she just assumes if there's a significant problem that her brother or her nephew would tell her, right? Like,
how would I know?
No. So it's probably like, as the resident car person, maybe part of your adulting should be that you download this app and put all of your relatives' vehicles in it so that you can sound like the smart guy when you call them up, go, hey, I just want to let you know that your Sorrento has a recall. You might want to get that checked out with the dealership.
There you go. Did I ever tell you about the time I was dating that girl in college and her dad expected me to do everything for her car? Did I ever tell you about that?
I vaguely remember it, yes.
Yeah, that reminded me of that. So, like, I was dating this girl in college, and she had what year was that?
She had a Thunderbird.
Thunderbird, the V8.
She had, like, the same Thunderbird that Michael had when he was in high school.
What year would that be, like a 95?
Probably. It was the generation before the last one that was so god-awful and terrible.
Yeah, so
he was those with turbo or with supercharged 6 cylinders.
The newest
Josh
version.
Fettis used to have one of those.
The newest Thunderbird?
The one like your girlfriend's.
Oh.
They made those, the They were called Super Coupes, I think.
I have no idea.
And they were supercharged with 6 speeds. Josh had one that was manual. It was like super rare.
Weird.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he had bought this Thunderbird, like this. I mean, it was like a teal blue with a V8, and he was like super proud of it.
It was kind of a hot piece of garbage.
Yeah, but he let her take it to college.
For a college girl.
And it used up oil like crazy. So then he expected her to check it and maintain that, which of course she didn't because she's a college girl. So then he'd come to Ames, and for any reason, football game, kids need some. He had $2 in college, so he'd any reason to come to Iowa State, and so like we'd go to dinner or something, and he'd be like, "So how's that car holding up?" And he'd look right past her at me, like I'm the one checking the oil, doing all the maintenance in the parking lot. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to know? How's
the assumption of you?
What's the oil level?
Do you think she was coached that she needs to find a car guy because her car is a hot piece of garbage and that's going to be a thing that she needs?
I would no. She was.
You don't think that was part of the?
I mean, that's a smart move, but no, definitely not. Because if she was into car guys, we would have kept dating. Remember how that worked out?
Well, just because her dad told her that's what she needed to date doesn't mean that's what she was into.
Well, I think once she found out that I was a car guy, then it's like, oh, that's what Dad wants. Done.
Yeah, that went downhill real fast there, didn't it?
But yeah, it was just like if you like cars at all, everyone expects you to know everything about their cars and maintain it. Did you check the tires? Did you check the oil? On my car, yeah. Changed it in the parking lot. It's fine. I don't know about your car. Take care of your own shit.
It's hard enough to keep up with it just for my own vehicles,
Yeah, and I keep getting new vehicles all the time.
Well, there's that, but I don't think they're going to... I mean, I doubt that... I would be shocked if I can even put any of the vehicles I currently own in this thing.
Oh, they got to have recalls on
I bet they
everything.
don't keep a database on a 1999 Chevy Silver or a Chevy Blazer.
They might.
I'm going to check now.
I would think they should have everything.
The worst app.
They got to have everything ever, right?
Out again. Chevrolet.
Like the concept's good. It just seems like the app itself is not so good.
Blazer. Oh, look at that Blazer.
That's nice.
4-door. 0 recalls, 1 investigation, 453 complaints.
So this app's only been, I guess that it'd be all complaints, not just on the app.
Yeah. Because you can report an app to the report a complaint to the NHTSA.
Right.
I have a 3-star front driver side rating and a 4-star front passenger side rating.
Well, at least your passengers are safer.
Look at this. Side crashes, 5 stars both sides. Boom.
Nice.
Rollover, not rated.
Not good. Didn't those have a rollover? Didn't they have a rollover issue? Like, I know the RAV4 had like an extra. It was more expensive to insure it because it had a higher rollover rate. Which really wasn't much different than the Blazer. The Blazer was taller.
So there was an investigation that never led to a recall on front control arm ball joints in September of 2002.
Jeez, how those would be so old by then. They would all be junk.
Well, I mean, I assume that the 99 Chevy Blazer has the same control arm ball joints as the 2001 and the 2000.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And all that,
2014, 18. Yeah, they're all the same.
Oh, this is funny. On certain sport utility vehicles originally sold in or currently registered in the states of Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, New Hampshire, New Jersey. There's a couple others in here. The failure of an upper control arm ball joint assembly could occur due to corrosion.
No way. You mean from all
if you live in the Rust Belt, if you live in the Rust Belt and your truck has caught the cancer, watch out for those ball joints rusting out, and that was worth a recall.
There's a few other bushings you might want to look at too while you're under there.
I didn't realize that rusting could be considered recall worthy.
Yeah, probably.
If
it rusts out immediately.
Is that really their fault? I mean, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is their fault. They picked cheap, shitty materials.
And they put poor design thoughts into it, too, I think.
No. That's when the marketing team got involved. Not the marketing, the accounting team. These fenders are too expensive.
Well, there is that, but then there's also like the cab corners of my S10. There's a lip on the inside of it where dirt and bullshit just piles up there.
Oh yeah, that's not good.
And that's why they all rust out.
Yeah, that's a flaw. That's an oversight.
And then I think they also never bothered to like do any sort of primer or undercoating of any sort up in there. And so they all rust out. Well, that's kind of...
Yeah, no surprise there.
It's kind of the manufacturer's fault, I suppose.
Definitely a design fault.
Yeah. So...
But yeah, if you want to keep up to date on your service... or not, yeah, the service bulletins, I guess, on your car.
I just thought, like, maybe every once in a while... people can come to 1010's podcast to learn something useful.
Don't they learn something useful every week about what not to do?
No. Well, okay, that's fair.
I give them examples of things not to do almost every week.
Well, this is a good example of things to do.
That's fair.
It's a good change of pace.
Yeah, get ahead of the game before when they actually update the...
Keep the people guessing.
Once the app catches up to the necessary information that's on it.
Well, maybe if more people download it, they'll spend the time to make fucking drop-down menus.
just take the same technology that AutoZone uses.
It's not rocket science. It's so simple.
There's a database somewhere. You could just copy it.
So frustrating.
This app advertisement was brought to you by Fabrication. FactoryFabrication.com for all your custom furniture and fabrication needs, or if you need a roll cage. He'll do that too. Or a center console or a bash bar. Lots of stuff. He might just be in the auto body business pretty soon. Who knows? Factory Fabrication auto body.
If I were him, I might just stick to doing high-end houses and businesses. That's probably more lucrative.
Yeah, tell all the roll bar people to kick rocks.
Cheap hot boys in their roll bars.
Hey. Not just roll bars, they're roll cages with NASCAR bars. Big time. But yeah, backfabrication.com. Adam, what have you been up to?
I finally went and did something with my life.
Did you grow a beard?
No.
Oh.
Like, not on purpose, I guess.
Right.
I haven't shaved in like a week or so I don't know. I would hardly call a beard, I guess.
That's always been my go-to since high school, is to tell people to grow a beard and do something with their lives.
Oh, no.
So just grow a beard and do something with your life.
No, I've told my kid to get a haircut and a real job a couple times.
Is this as long as your hair?
Not right now. He got a haircut.
Oh, it's halfway there.
I haven't had the haircut yet. I have the real job, but not the haircut.
You're both halfway there.
Well, together we make a functioning adult, which is sad because he's 4. I don't know what that says about me.
If they haven't figured it out by now.
But if those are the requirements for functioning adult and he's 50% of the way there at age 4, he's doing all right.
He'll be fine.
I feel like that's a success. That's a win as a parent.
Yeah.
He's 50% of the way to being a functioning adult.
That's all you can ask.
Yeah. So anyway, what I actually did is I went to this before. We've talked about this before, but this time was a little bit different because I sort of participated in it. I was with my dad. He participated in it.
You're a crew chief.
Sure, we'll call it that. There's a drag strip in Bethany, Missouri, which is the most delightfully ghetto drag strip I've ever attended. I say delightfully ghetto because its lack of modern drag racing facilities is kind of charming in a weird way.
You know, that was my first reaction while I was scrolling through these pictures, was that it looks like it's just kind of in a field with some lack thereof safety. Yeah,
I wouldn't give them an A. They don't get a 5-star crash rating, to say the least.
No, because that 2-foot tall fence that follows the course a few feet off.
Yeah,
that's made out of wood.
That's not that unstandard for.
No, I'm sure it's not.
for drag tracks. But like they teched the car in the trailer.
It's fine.
When we were getting registered.
There's only 2 cars on track.
My dad, he has like all the proper, so he has that open wheel car, or like open cockpit car, but they classed him as a roadster. I don't know what classes they all had. I guess this was the Rumble. Let's get through what we're doing here. This was Rumble in the Valley, they call it. It's their nostalgia drag race. So, what was it? 67 and older, I think, was the cutoff.
Okay.
67? Yes. It was like 67, 68 and older. Somewhere in there.
So nothing new.
Right. And so the other idea was, although they're not nearly as picky on this criteria, they do want nostalgia themed cars still. So they don't really encourage people showing up with like their tube frame modern fuel injected big block monstrosities that have like 62 Pontiac Tempest bodies draped over them, like what we had when I was younger.
Yeah,
that's not really what they're looking for. They're looking more for like gassers and altereds like my dad's and stuff like that. So that's more what they're looking for,
which makes sense.
My dad has raced this car as just a normal drag car, just in a regular classing system before. So where he was in Ottawa, they required all the safety stuff. He has the arm restraints in case the car rolled over, his hands can't come out of the cockpit. There's restraints that go into the lap belt, and then they go around kind of like handcuffs around your wrists, yep. Right?
Yeah, we require that for convertibles.
Yeah, and they're just long enough that you can get your hands on the steering wheel and do your thing, but they're not long enough that if you roll over, your hands are going to come outside of your roll cage.
Yep.
I had to have those when I was racing junior dragsters when I was a little kid too. So pretty standard stuff. He doesn't have to have a Hans device, but he does have does require like this, I would say 2 to 3 inch thick foam neck brace that goes between his shoulders and the bottom of his helmet.
Yep.
So it's not quite Hans device level protection, but it's still certainly better than nothing. And I've often considered getting one for my Omni just because I think even in autocross, like that might not be the worst thing. And it's more not so like if I crash that my neck doesn't get hurt, but like when I'm hitting bumps and
or
bangs that
whiplashy.
Fucking snap my neck a little bit with the helmet, because that extra weight of that helmet is more than you realize on your neck, I think.
Well, especially on like a real tight autocross course where you're like quick left, hard right type of stuff like that, where you're whipping your neck back and forth. Or probably all of our lots too, where your lot isn't exactly the smoothest piece of cement in the world. Oh man, like when I put it on all the way stiff just to see what it was like.
You have like a really stiff.
Oh my god.
Car. Yeah. Been there, done that, huh?
Yeah. Well, you got to learn one. You got to do it at least once. Figure out how stiff it really is.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's kind of what this event is about, right? So my dad's car fits in there real well. He was in a class that they labeled as Roadster. He was by far and away the most race of those cars. I hadn't originally intended on talking about this right away, but if you go to the picture I labeled number 10, that is a perfect representation of what he was racing as well, or what he was racing against. I didn't get close. I didn't get close enough to actually get a picture of this because the people were always around the vehicle, and I felt like the picture I needed to take looked a little weird. Like I was taking a picture of it to make fun of it, which is exactly what it would have been. But if you look at this, so it's got a seat back, right? A bench seat back.
So it's like a Model T.
Yeah, it's like
with a V8 in front of it.
Yep, it's a stereotypical T bucket. They have like a 32 Ford. It's the quintessential American hot rod, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, so you've got the seat back, and you can see that in the picture if you're looking at this on YouTube or whatever. And then what you can't see and what I wanted to take a picture of is that your butt is literally sitting on the floor and the gas and brake pedal are at the same level as where your butt sits. There's not a foot well to speak of.
So you're just flat on the floor on a tub.
Flat on the floor. And there were 2 Roadsters just like this that were the other 2 cars in my dad's class. And so you're literally sitting on this thing. It has no rollover protection whatsoever.
Yep.
And you're just sitting in it. Like you're sitting flat on the floor with your knees in your chest.
And it just has a single lap belt, doesn't it?
If that.
Sketch City.
There's definitely no harnesses. There's definitely not even like a shoulder 3-point. It's just a lap belt.
If you,
I'm not even going to promise that was there.
If you roll over, the first thing that's going to hit is the windshield, which will smash, then the steering wheel, which will smash, and then it will sit on top of the bucket after it smashes you.
Well, so I feel like there might be a compelling argument for there not to be a seatbelt in this situation, because I genuinely think that being thrown from this car is safer.
It's the 1960s mentality. Absolutely. I'd rather.
I'm not entirely sure that that's not true, though, because
in that situation with that type of car, it's probably true.
Be safer.
You're dead either way, but you might be a little bit less dead if you can be thrown away from the issue.
Yeah.
And not be stuck in it. Yeah, there's literally no protection at all.
No, not at all.
Certain death.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was kind of funny. So, like, when we went through their air quote tech, which was literally them like, oh, you got the car in the trailer? Like, yeah, because we pulled it in the enclosed, And, oh, can you open it up? We'll just tech it real quick. And my dad's like, yeah, I got all the safety gear and stuff. Like, oh, yeah, you got it. Looks good.
It's there.
They didn't like
yank
check
on
for expiration dates. They didn't verify that the helmet was the right helmet. None of that stuff. They're just like, yep, you've got it. Sweet. And I guarantee you he had more safety equipment than almost anybody else present at this event.
That's wild.
So, but it's a good time. It's fun because it's kind of relaxed. And
yeah, I would imagine. It's probably not the most uber competitive type of thing where everyone's cutthroat or whatever.
No. So, along with the nostalgia theme, I'll try and go through these pictures in order here for you, Robbie.
It's all good.
Along with the nostalgia theme of the event comes girls dressing up in 50s attire.
Like pinup girls and stuff like that.
Right. And my girlfriend loves doing that kind of stuff, but doesn't get to very often. So I let her get on Amazon and buy a few things to make an outfit. And she was super, super jazzed on the whole idea. So she bought this dress that she's wearing here. That's like a black and white checkered dress with red roses on it. And she has the little hair tie thing and she really enjoyed herself. There wasn't as many girls there this year as I had kind of hoped there would be. So she was one of like 3 or 4, which was kind of weird, but it didn't seem to really phase her too much. So
she probably wasn't expecting to be a lot.
It was cool because like I kind of sometimes I struggle to get her to be all that enthused about going to car events.
Yeah.
And she was actually excited about going to this one because of the dress up aspect of it. So it was cool. And there were actually a couple people that gave her compliments about, oh, it's so cute that you're wearing that stuff and whatever. So that was cool.
It's kind of hard to do that with like modern stuff because what are you going to do? Like the hot import night skanks with the underglow under their skirts.
Yeah,
it doesn't really work.
That's not the look that my girlfriend's going for, thank God.
But it's cool to do these like vintage ones because like Good Guys and like I'm trying to think of some other ones. But like a lot of those.
I'm drawing a blank on it. Torque Fest. That's a big one around here.
Yeah, they'll do like the pinup girl competitions or
the rockabilly stuff.
Yeah, so like a lot of people dress up for various different things. So it's just that added effect to like get everybody involved. So yeah, if you're not really into cars, you can do this other stuff. So yeah, it's super fun.
Yep. So then my kid also thought that he was going to make a pass. That was his plan. He jumped in the driver's seat.
Did you at least let him start it up?
No.
Oh, come on.
No, he's pretty terrified of it, honestly.
It's a healthy fear.
It's very loud. and he wore a pair of headphones the whole time we were there, the whole day.
Well, that's good. He'll appreciate that choice 10 years from now, 20 years.
Well, that's probably true, but I never did it.
What?
Exactly. So, but yeah. The next up here, we've got this Dodge. I want to say, was it 62 or 63 Belvedere?
Okay.
So this thing is
it's like a gasser.
It's quintessential 60s gasser style. So it's kind of hard because he was parked kind of close to other cars, so I couldn't get a very good like full side profile of him. This is the best I could do, and I could hear you complaining about it already.
Well, you took it in
the picture.
You took it in portrait mode instead of landscape mode, so it's all jacked up.
I had to, Robbie.
No, you didn't. You can turn your phone sideways. You're fully capable.
So
it's not going to automatically
the front
die.
axle on this is pushed way forward, and the rear axle is also pushed way forward.
Oh, weird. Why is the rear forward?
For weight transfer purposes.
Oh, yeah, because you can see the exhaust comes out the wheel well.
The wheel well. Yep.
And then
I included a picture of the original car as it was built.
It's not even recognizable.
Factory. And then I got like closer profile pictures of both of where the wheels sit on the car. So you can see if you look at the picture of the side profile of a factory one, which took me a while to find on the Googles. There's it's quite a. I mean, it is quite a ways forward. It's not too far forward, but it's definitely closer on this car than it was on the factory one.
It's an entire wheel length forward.
Yeah, the back axle is.
On the factory vehicle, let's just say it's directly below the pillar.
Yeah,
behind the
seat
rear
pillar.
Yeah, the rear. Yeah, behind the glass, like for the rear windshield.
Yep.
But in the race car, it's basically
the axle would be where the
seat was,
where the bottom of the seat is.
Yeah, so it's like it's like halfway halfway through the rear window.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep. And the reason they did that is because when they slide the back axle forward, when the car weight transfers, it's going to put more of the car's weight on the rear axle.
Yeah, I suppose.
And in lieu of modern technology's suspension, that was the best they could do. So it's kind of interesting to see.
Yeah.
The front, they did that to just kind of get more of the weight up high so that when it transferred, it would transfer harder onto the back wheels. This car has my favorite exhaust in the entire world, and that is Zoomies.
Straight out the wheel well. They're like...
Yep, so the exhaust essentially comes out where the front wheel would be on a stock car. And he didn't even have to cut the fender out to make the exhaust fit.
And they're all
behind the front wheel.
They're all separate tubes. It goes roughly 2.5 feet from the engine and just dumps right next to the car.
Yeah.
That's gotta be loud.
I love Zoomies.
So loud.
Zoomies are the best.
You know what car would be great with Zoomies?
Dalton's
Corvette. That would be great.
Dalton's Corvette for sure. I keep telling him, so there's actually in the rule book of Top Fuel, Funny Cars, and Dragsters, the angle at which your Zoomie can exit the engine is in the rule book, because those cars under power, there's enough force coming out of those exhaust pipes to create downforce.
And he's all about downforce now.
And front downforce is the hardest to make.
Yep.
So I keep telling him he needs Zoomies.
And point them up in the air, man.
Yeah. But he's stuck on this wind-blown diffuser thing, exhaust-blown diffuser thing. So I told him that you take the front two cylinders on both sides and you Zoomie them.
Yep.
And the back two cylinders you run to your diffuser. And then you can have both.
That sounds like a win-win. The best of both worlds.
You can have your cake and eat it too.
Now I really wish he does it, because I'll be really disappointed if he doesn't. I want to see it.
He's not going to do it.
That'd be so cool.
I have been strongly discouraging him to not do the exhaust blown diffuser.
Yeah, and do Zoomies.
Yeah, I get where he doesn't want to do Zoomies, and that's fine. But the exhaust blown diffuser is a bad idea, because apparently it makes the car a little bit unpredictably unstable.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because whether or not you're giving it throttle will change the amount of downforce that the car is making.
So if you hesitate through a turn,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden mash it
partway through a turn, you could lose it. Like if you, oh shit, I got on this too early, I got to back off a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be hard. That'd be difficult to tame, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's hard to be consistent with it too, I think. So
yeah, I would fuck that up for sure. I think on the first drive.
Since we're just mere mortals, like maybe we should just stay away from that. Also, it seems like a really good way to start your under tray on fire, and he doesn't need help with that. Corvettes are not cars that we want that kind of problem with.
It does it on its own.
Yeah, it's bound to happen. So
back to these gassers.
Yeah, so the next picture here is actually a front-engined rail, as they call them, a dragster. They call them rails for whatever reason. But the center, this is one of those where you sit your butt right behind the center section, and the axles go basically right under your knees, and then you've got, if you'll notice in this picture, the single foot pedal for the gas. So,
which is like right there. Like your knees are like tucked in your chest.
Yeah, I'm assuming that this is pretty tight. I assume that this guy's probably not the tallest guy in the world.
He can't be. He's definitely not 6'4".
Right, but you can change that.
Yeah, I'm just surprised at how close that gas pedal is to the diff.
Probably not as close as you think it is.
Okay. Yeah, the picture makes it look like you have to have your legs basically. You're sitting, like let's just say you're sitting on your butt, and you have your legs almost all the way back to you. So like your knees would be definitely almost touching that steering wheel. That's how it looks in the picture.
The big reason that I took this picture is because they painted a set of testicles on the back of the center section
with hair on
the axle.
Yep.
Some hairy testicles, and that shit's hilarious to me.
So you just rest your nuts on the nuts and let's go.
Yeah. Take some nuts to drive this, I'm sure. So this is a handbrake operated car.
Oh, okay.
They only have brakes on the rear tires. They don't have brakes on the front tires at all.
Well, they're tiny tires in the front, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're worthless.
Yeah, actually, the Dodge that we were just looking at, when he would do his burnouts, because most of these cars do rolling burnouts because they don't have line locks, because that was not a thing in the 60s when these cars are supposed to be modeled after. But he would do his rolling burnouts, and then he'd try to bring the car to a stop, and almost every time he would lock up the front wheels really badly.
Well,
like throwing smoke off of them.
Actually, if you look at the picture, it looks like they're flat spotted.
And I was going to say that. Oh yeah, look at that. That picture is super fucked.
Yeah, they're super flat spotted.
That was what I was going to say. Those tires were super flat spotted. By the end of the day, they were almost octagons.
Wow. Yeah, I guess you can see it in the picture. Huh.
Yeah. So he, like through the day, he was I think that this is maybe one of the first times this car has been out in its current configuration.
Okay.
And so through the day, he was sorting stuff out with it quite a bit.
Well, plus with a car this old, without having fuel injection, you're constantly messing with it.
Well, so it sounded to me like it was breaking up real bad. Like he was maybe having a fuel delivery issue. But my dad, I don't understand these things that well, and I didn't really have the time to press him on it. But my dad said something about that being maybe the way it is with a lower compression engine and using Zoomies.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't tell you.
So I think maybe if you run Zoomies, you might want high compression. There might be some engineering reason behind that, and that was kind of part of the problem. Maybe not so much a problem, but it sounded weird. It sounded like it wasn't running well because of his exhaust setup.
Yeah, I'm curious if the lack of back pressure in the exhaust does anything, and maybe it doesn't. But just thinking out loud.
I'm sure it does something. I just don't know enough about it.
I'm not familiar with that at all.
Exhaust tuning is a wild, crazy thing. So,
yes. And tuning an engine of that generation was way beyond me.
Yeah, because that's got individual throttle bodies, essentially. It's got a Hillborn injection system on it. So there's 8 little throttle bodies with these tall velocity stacks. And it's like super, super early rudimentary fuel injection, essentially. but it's certainly not as controlled and intelligent as a modern system.
Oh, not at all.
And they don't like basically anything but wide open throttle.
But who doesn't? I mean,
well, that's fair.
That's the best. That's the best throttle. Is wide open throttle.
I'm not going to disagree with that. I've been trying to talk my dad into putting him on his alters for quite a while. He's not having it though.
I went down this really weird rabbit hole like a week or two ago, where I saw a picture of a 350Z with independent throttle bodies, and I was like, you know, it'd be really cool is if my 350Z had independent throttle bodies.
Yes.
But my God, they're expensive, and it sounds like it'd be a nightmare to get set up. But it'd be so cool.
That would be super cool, wouldn't it?
Like $1,400 just to get started. I'm like, I got other things to buy.
Yeah, I get that.
That's last on the list, but man, it'd be sweet.
It would be pretty sweet. Especially since, like, those, generally speaking, that's a power mod.
Yeah, it is. It'd be
and
like
you already have an engine you're probably...
I don't need to add power to for the plans I have for it.
You might just be detuning it if you're going to run in GLTC, so it'd be kind of silly.
Well, plus you're taking a car that's drive-by-wire, and then you're effectively taking that out, and it's a total like redesign of your system. So
yeah,
it'd be cool. It'd be a dream, but not reality. I probably won't ever do it, but it'd be cool.
Yeah. So anyway, my dad being the most race car of the 3 Roadsters in the class, he managed to come away with a
bitchin' trophy,
class win. And so they wouldn't let me very close to the trophy ceremony for whatever reason. So that was the best picture I could get. So there's my dad standing there with his foot against the front tire of his race car. I think just after he got his trophy, because the whole time that he was getting his trophy from where I was standing, I couldn't get a picture of him.
But hey, that's cool. You got a trophy.
Which was really annoying. So yeah, they're pretty sweet little trophies. Have some like hand pinstriping on them. The word Roadster was painted on there. The rest of it was printed, but the word Roadster was hand painted on there. The class.
That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, it was pretty cool to be able to get the. He's like, I think this might be the first trophy I've won in like a decade or so.
It is always fun bringing home trophies.
Yeah, it's
as you can tell from flat, I'm wearing this SCCA gold medal.
Hell yeah!
Also, the gold medals are kind of cool too. I like that.
Yeah.
Actually, anything. If I can bring home something that, besides a glass that just says SCCA on it. Look, honey, I won.
I have an E-Prepared first place plaque from the DMVR.
Nice.
I was the only E-Prepared car in any of the events I ran that year. But that's not important.
Nobody needs to know that.
It is quintessential participation trophy.
Don't you have an unlimited second place trophy?
I have a second place unlimited trophy as well.
Isn't unlimited the fastest class?
It is the fastest class.
I'm pretty sure that makes you the second fastest driver there.
Actually, there were 2 unlimited classes, and I was in the faster of the 2 because they're split up by minimum weights.
Yep, so you were in unlimited 2, the fastest class.
I think they just assume that the lighter cars will automatically be the faster ones.
Well, obviously.
Right.
And you were second place.
I was second place. The only guy that beat me was in that was his car.
Yep.
And it would just have been rude of me to beat him.
You can't beat the guy that built the car.
Right, that'd just be rude.
Yep.
I let him win.
Well, I'm saving the spot right here for your second place trophy next to
I should
my backwards trophy.
Someday.
When you come back to this house again.
Yeah.
I can see you face to face.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
God, it's been forever.
So yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about any of these other pictures.
I don't know. I haven't looked through them.
This blue car, this blue and white car with the blue tinted windows, it's just a little bit off centered in the picture.
Yeah, because you can't
take
a center.
My son took that picture.
I couldn't tell the difference between you and a 4-year-old taking a picture.
I knew that you would. I debated whether I would even put this in here or not because I could already hear you giving me shit about it. But you're like,
he takes just as good a picture as you do.
Fuck it.
It makes no difference. You know what you should do from now on is just hand him a camera at every event you go to. Pictures will be the same. He'd take the same pictures.
One of these shots is through the fence of a car on the drag strip, and I'll bet he tried 10 times to get a picture of a car in frame on the racetrack. And he was so pumped.
I know that
when
feeling.
He finally got it.
I know that feeling so well.
He loves taking pictures. Loves it.
We should get him that. Let him use that Lumix. Teach him how to do.
I'll bet that he would
stuff.
take some of the like most candidly awesome pictures ever.
I bet he really would. We got to teach him how to turn your phone, but yeah, we'll figure it out. He's young. He's got a bad teacher. It happens.
So, the picture that just looks like the end of the racetrack and nothing.
Yep.
I took that because I was zoomed in a little bit. It's kind of hard to see, but like they literally just have a light that comes on to indicate who won, which lane won. There's no board for elapsed time or speed. There's none of that. So like, I have no idea how fast most of these cars went. There was an announcer, and occasionally he would announce speeds and times, but that was it.
Do they do a lot of
that's how adorably ghetto this place is.
That's like grudge racing stuff, though, ain't it? Where you don't tell the times.
Well, yes, that's true, but that's not what
they were doing.
Is.
Okay,
they just don't have it.
Huh?
It's not like, that they're like trying to be this like true street style drag strip. They just don't have it.
I mean, besides the fact that it was a vintage event, it was definitely like it's like taking a step back in time.
Yeah. It's cool to go there, though. I really enjoy it. It's a neat little place. There's almost no pavement in there or anything like that. And yeah, it's just such a weird little place. So it's kind of funny, the dramatic difference between that and like going to Eddyville, which is our local drag strip, which is probably one of the nicest drag strips I've ever been to. That's not like a full on NHRA sanctioned pro level location.
Yeah, so the only one I really, besides Eddyville, is Topeka is the only one I can compare it to.
Yeah, and that's like hard. That's not.
No, that's apples and oranges.
The same type of place, like that's exactly. So, but yeah, it's just kind of a cool little place because it's so like. It's a really cool place to hold a nostalgia event because it does feel like you've stepped back into 1965 and we're just doing some weekend racing and that nothing is any different than normal because that's just where we are and that's cool. So
yeah, I like that. I like that it's not at a modern track with all new stuff.
Yeah,
that's cool. That'd be fun.
Yeah, so it's a neat little deal. It's only like a 30 or 40 minute drive from my parents' house now. So that was kind of fun. So, yeah.
And this was second time he's had his car out? First time?
I think this is the second or third time he's had the car out this year.
Oh, nice. I remember you had it for a bit before you actually got a chance to take it out.
Well, so he made almost a full season with it last year.
Did he really?
Yeah, he raced quite a bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he raced quite a bit with it in Ottawa last year.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, but yeah, it hasn't come out between COVID and moving and all that stuff. It hasn't really got a chance to come out much this year, so kind of a bum deal.
Yeah, you can't really blame him for that. So
no,
yeah, it's nice to get out to that though.
Yeah, it was a good time. So. Pretty consistently ran like 7.0s in the 8th mile there. They do give you a time slip that does have the time and the mile per hour on it. So you just don't get to see it as a spectator.
Right.
So pretty consistently ran 7.0s, which is what he ran at Ottawa, which is a nicer and better prepped track, which kind of really drives home the fact that car makes no power and that it really doesn't matter what surface it's on because it's going to run the same times.
Nice.
So that makes it a decent bracket car because there's not that much guessing in it. You kind of know where it's already at.
Right.
So
does he do
I'd be shocked if that thing makes like 250 wheel.
Oh man, I was expecting a lot more. Does he do a lot of bracket racing?
That's all he was.
That's all he does. Okay.
That's all he's ever raced.
Okay.
Like when I was growing up, that's all we ever did was bracket racing, or index. But yeah, mostly bracket racing. Index being like Like, say the class is a 990 index, so everybody has to race a 990, and the person who's closest to it without going over is the winner.
Okay.
But I don't know that my dad ever ran index classing. I think pretty much everything he's ever done was bracket racing. For those that don't know, bracket racing being that you do a couple of what they call time trials to kind of get a feel for where the car's at that day on that track with the weather. And then during eliminations, you put what's called the dial in on the car, which is where you guess how fast you're going to go. And the two cars line up, and whoever's slower goes first. And say the slower car is dial in is half a second slower, he'll go, and half a second later, the next car is allowed to leave. And if everything lines up perfectly, they should both cross the finish line at the exact same time, but that essentially never happens. And the goal is to be as close to your dial-in time as you can possibly be without going over, without going faster.
Okay.
So if you go faster, you automatically lose. If you leave the start line too early, you automatically lose, which is one of the hardest parts for me about bracket racing when I was younger, is when I was the faster of the two cars and I had to wait.
Oh,
that was always really difficult.
That'd be frustrating.
I was really bad at cutting lights to begin with, but then when you added the extra tenseness of being the guy who's waiting for your chance to run the other guy down, it's game over for me at that point. Like it was never my cup of tea.
I do that on iRacing. Like it'll be when you're in grid, and then all of a sudden the light pops up, but the lights aren't on yet. I'll like the first couple of races, the lights would pop up, and then I'd hit the gas and then jump. And of course, lights haven't gone out yet. So I watched somebody do that yesterday, sitting in front of me. All of a sudden, he revs it, the thing jumps up, and he just goes for it. I'm like, nope. So he slams on the brakes, tries to back up, and then now it's green. Yeah, that was a shit race.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's
bracket racing is cool because it takes no matter like you could take a bone stock Cavalier and you can go bracket racing with it. It doesn't matter who's fastest. It matters who's most consistent and best guessing. So it doesn't matter how fast you go. It doesn't matter how much money you've thrown into the engine. It doesn't matter what kind of wild, crazy suspension and insane tire package you have on the car.
Yep.
All that matters is that you can consistently get it down the track in the same time and that you are good at guessing. And so like we used to keep track of weekend to weekend. My mom had like this weather station that had like barometric pressure and humidity percentages and temperature, and we would keep track of what those things were each run. And she had a book that she would keep track of all that stuff in, and then we would keep track of tire pressures and any other stuff that my dad would change on the car, so that we had kind of an idea of how the car would change based on weather conditions throughout the day. Because especially with those carbureted cars, as it got cooler, the cars would run a little faster.
Yep.
And so that was one of the hard parts about doing the bracket racing and the dial in for each round, is that you probably have to change it as the night goes on.
Yep.
Because the car is going to steadily get a little bit quicker, and they go out two spots behind the decimal. So you got to be pretty exact.
Mm-hmm. God, the nerd in me is thinking of that book and going, I could make an Excel sheet that would create a formula.
You got to remember, this was 20 years ago, man. That stuff didn't exist.
You can still take it and do it.
Yeah,
I can give you that formula.
Yeah, absolutely. So bracket racing was interesting. It's not nearly as much fun to watch.
Yeah, I can see that.
Although there is kind of something fun in watching the faster car run the slower car down.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun, but I see the appeal from a spectator standpoint of heads-up racing a lot more than bracket racing. But as a driver, bracket racing is so much more friendly.
Yeah,
and I wish that there was a way that we could do that with track racing.
Oh yeah,
There's just not a good way
No,
that would make sense.
Right.
Because you're not going to send like 2 cars out on the track and have them each guess what their lap time's going to be and send them out there and see what they do.
Right.
Because there's a lot of times in bracket racing, there's electronics and no electronics classes, and electronics classes have like trans brakes and delay boxes and stuff like that can help you cut better lights and stuff like that. I don't really understand how all those things work because I've never really used them, so we're not going to go there. But it'd be kind of funny to have like a no electronics track class where you go out there and you're not allowed to have your apex or your solo or whatever. You don't have any of your predictive lap time. You're just out there. You're just feeling it out. See what you can run and try to be the guy who's closer to your guess. That would be interesting, but cool. It's not a feasible.
Yeah, you'd have to almost do it like a time trials, and you'd have.
Well, it's not a good use of track time.
No, that's an expensive track weekend for a very unbusy track.
Right. It could be done with.
You could do it.
You could probably do it with autocross.
Yeah, you could.
So,
it's a cool thought.
That's
though.
drag racing.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of these nostalgia events all over the place, and I think they're super cool. Just like you get a lot of vintage track racing, and that stuff seems to be becoming more and more popular. I think this stuff is fun. It's cool.
Yeah, so. I'd like to do more of that. It's like every year, Good Guys comes around. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go. And then this year I didn't get to go. I'm like, I really wish I could have gone. I could have, but I didn't. But it's just one of those. I like, the older I get, the more I like the different stuff. Yeah.
Good Guys I can kind of take or leave because it's become such a huge event, and it's become kind of a mess because of its size.
You mean the 4,000 cars doesn't really do it for you?
Well, it's hard, and like if I go to that, I want to autocross.
Yep.
But it really doesn't make any sense to autocross because you're lucky if you get 3 or 4 runs.
Yeah, I never made it to one of those.
Make any sense?
No.
So, because like you could run on Sundays here in Des Moines.
I meant to that one year and it just didn't work out.
Which would be kind of funny.
It'd be cool.
So
maybe next year, on the one track weekend, I might not be gone.
I was going to say, because you don't really have a whole lot planned for next year, so let's see what happens.
I should have a lot of free time in 2021, I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, obviously.
So,
anyways, anything else on your weekend?
I tried to go back and get pictures of that Mercedes, and I forgot about it.
Oh, shoot.
It was still there. I didn't go get pictures of it, though.
Oh, well.
One of these days I'll try to, because it's the most baller-ass thing you've ever seen in your life, and I love it. I want it so bad.
Well, at least it's not going to be, like, it's not leaving. It's going to stay there.
No, probably not. So, but no, I think that's all I really got. So
nice. So I can talk about my stuff a little bit. So I
know you've been working on that fancy Porsche you got.
Yeah, so I got introduced to the Porsche from my endurance team that I'm on now. If you're on Facebook, you want to look them up. It's Missed Apex Racing, which I think is pretty accurate because I'm not very good at racing. So this is a perfect team for me because I will miss the Apex. But we're driving a Porsche 944. I think it's an 86 with a bunch of 89 parts on it. It's Porsche nomenclature, so it's a turbo, non-turbo, or something. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm still learning a lot.
It's not a turbo car.
No.
It's the 2.5?
Yes, it's got the 2.5 in it. Well, not yet, but it will. But it's got like this ridiculous wide body kit on it, like a single piece fender bumper nose
it's like
combo.
Full on race car.
It's a full race car with wide body quarters.
A single piece front end.
Yep.
Which is so race car.
We were discussing like how are we going to set this up so that we can do shit to it in the pits? Because I think we're just have to take the whole thing off, check the oil.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't really be checking oil
Well, if you're burning oil, it'd be nice to know that you're not off the stick.
I know, but it's kind of hard to check
at-
oil on a car that just came off a track and has been sloshing around and whatnot.
Just to know that there's oil on the stick's a good idea, though.
Just throw half a quart in there.
Just keep topping it up. Either way, the hood's got to come off. You see the conundrum?
I mean, you can come up with something.
Nah, that's extra latches. But yeah, we were just
get a longer dipstick and a longer dipstick tube.
Just stick it out the hood.
Drill a hole in the top of the hood. Problem solved.
Yeah. But I got introduced to the car. We did our first work weekend that I was with them. So Mel's got the engine. He's doing a full rebuild on that, and then doing all the upgrades and race stuff that goes along with that. I haven't been involved in the engine, so I'm not quite sure what he's all doing. Eric did all the wiring, so we got a standalone unit, so he did all the, he drew up the diagrams, full engineer on it. He's like, hey, how do these diagrams look? I'm like, good. I don't know what's missing, but it looks great. It's all professional. He's got everything laid out. I was like, this is a perfect project for you. So he's got the battery box mounted and got all the wires ran, but obviously they're not connected to anything yet. So we just got to wait till the engine's in so we can start connecting sensors and stuff like that. And then my job for the most part over the weekend was transferring all of the suspension and the brakes and anything that was good on one of the two donor cars to this car. So the front control arms that were on this car were real janky, but we had a really good set that was coming off this other car. So we pulled those off, replaced the front control arms, installed the calipers, and then I ran brake lines for everything. So this is my first time I've ever actually created new brake lines, which really was super easy. So I ran new brake lines, saved some of the front, the one race car had really nice brake lines, so we just used those over. And then what else did I do? Oh, the steering column. So there's a Volkswagen steering column in the car which didn't line up, and we realized that when we were trying to get everything set up, it's almost the same length, and it just didn't, nothing was sitting quite right. And then where it interfaced with the firewall, it didn't line up. The bushing was supposed to be a quarter inch further or further out, and it wasn't lining up at all. So I pulled that out. And then of course the donor car is just a shell of a car at this point because they've stolen a bunch of parts off of it. Anything that's valuable has been taken out. So I'm getting there, just covered in mouse shit, and I'm pulling the dash out, and then I'm taking thinking, okay, well, it's gonna be 2 bolts in the front, 2 bolts in the back, and then just pull the steering shaft out. No big deal. But it's Porsche, so it's got one of those riveted. That's a really weird. If you're watching the video, I got 2 fingers in the air. Anyways, so it's got one of those bolts that are you install it and then can't uninstall it. So it's got a smooth head. God, I need to stop talking with my hands while I say things like that. It's phrasing. It's got a smooth head.
Huh? It's got a smooth head. Huh?
Yeah. So the bolt somehow gets tight, but there's no head to it. So then you have to drill the whole thing out. So I'm under the dash of this Porsche that's been sitting outside for a year and a half, just drilling this bolt out. Mouse shit's falling on my head. That one actually didn't go too bad. So we got the steering rack all set up. We got the brakes all set up. I got to redo the rear brakes now that we changed how we're going to do the proportion valve and stuff like that. So which again, it's no big deal. Just modify what's already there. But yeah, brakes are as far as we can go with the parts we have. It's a rolling chassis again. The engine should be there here in the next few weeks. And and then we also took some of the fuel lines off one of the other cars, and I learned the hard way that gas tank was full.
Oh no!
Yep. So just laying under the car, started pulling everything off, hacking away, and then all of a sudden, just down my arm, just a big puddle everywhere. So luckily Eric was able to go run and get me a bolt I can stuff in into the rubber hose and get that all blocked off. But yeah, that tank was basically full.
What a pain.
Yeah, so we were just getting acquainted with the car. Worked all Friday after work until probably 10 o'clock, and then all day Saturday. So we had made a lot of progress for just 2 days worth of work. I think Eric and Nick worked for quite a bit on Sunday too. But
so, do you have any idea? like the history of that car?
I don't yet. I'm sure any of those other guys could. Yeah, I'm still very much in this team's been together for the better part of a year, and it's just kind of slowly taken, like COVID hit and like the priorities shifted this year, and then by the time this fall hit, the priority shifted back to everyone wants to have this car done, and then they talked to me, and I was like, yeah, I'm obviously interested in being part of this team, so I came on. So yeah, I've only been technically part of the team for like 3 weeks, but I'm super excited about it. Endurance racing for some reason has always been that thing I've always wanted to do. So this is kind of perfect.
If I was going to do any club racing, like if I ever am at the point where I want to try something like that, like for my first goal is time attack.
Yep.
That's what I want to do first. That's what I'm most interested in. But if I were to do any club racing, actual like wheel to wheel racing, that's what I would start with for sure.
Yeah. Yep. No, I'm extremely excited about it because I made a comment about last episode that I'm using that as experience before I even really start dipping my toe into GLTC if I even get to that point. But yeah, I mean, endurance has always kind of been the goal, and even if it's not the same as GLTC, it's definitely where I want to focus and then keep building the Z towards that. And who knows, in a year the Z might not even be for GLTC; it could be something else. Yeah, I'm super, super excited to get this Porsche on the road, and the plan is now to kind of wrap up what we can do here in the next few weeks. I think we got another work weekend on the 11th of October, whatever that date is, that actual weekend, and then get as far as we can. Then we're going to drop that off at Boonies and get him to get the cage legal, and then do a handful of other body type things. And that means that the Z now is priority number 2. Because Eric thinks that the Porsche has to go first. So the plan is to do the Porsche. He'll drop the Porsche at my place, take the Z back to his place, and then the work weekends will be at my place.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm very excited. It's going to be super fun.
Yeah, I think I'm excited for you guys to be able to do that. I hope to be able to come with for a couple of those races maybe and do some crew chiefing, some pit crewing, whatever it is you guys need. So
hell yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So I thoroughly enjoyed doing that with Josh and his buddies when I did that with the Champ Car Neon, and I would love to be able to do that more often. So yeah.
Well, next year there seems to be a lot of opportunity.
Yeah,
so we can make your time trials, your time trials dreams come true. We could do some more endurance stuff, racing. There are so many opportunities that you could just come and hang out with me. It'll be great.
We're gonna be sick of each other by the end of next year.
We've been saying that for years, and look at the podcast, 231 episodes in.
That's true. The 10 years of hanging out weekly before that. So.
No, that's how it was with Josh and me, because when we were working in the body shop, we would leave the body shop and then go work on our cars, and then work every day in the body shop again. It was one of those things that's when you know you have real friends, is because you could spend all day at work, then all evening working on cars, and then all day at work again, and then when you're not doing any of those things, you're going to other functions or partying or whatever together. It was one of those things we're either going to be really great friends or we're going to fucking hate each other by the time this is over.
Well, I think
just like me and you, dude.
You've got to be one of my longest running friendships. I mean, we weren't really that close of friends in high school, I suppose. But,
acquaintances at for sure, closer to legit friends. I mean, we wouldn't call each other on the weekends and just girl talk.
I was probably 16, 17 years old when we met.
Yeah, roughly.
So it's been a while. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, not a lot of people have friends that last that long.
No.
Take that.
Half my life almost.
Hell yeah.
Over, maybe.
I'm one of the longest relationships you've ever had.
I know. I don't know what that says about either one of us.
Let's not go down that path.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, that's all I got for the race team. The Z hasn't been touched. I mean, I put the wiring harness in so that it's I can start it and move it over to the boonies, and I made the exhaust hang a little straighter, but I haven't really done anything in the shop. I changed the oil in the truck, and I've done yard stuff.
Yeah, you've been busy doing yard stuff.
Adult shit.
It's gross.
I know.
So,
anyways,
should we move on to the news then?
Yeah. As always, the news is presented by Apex Pro at apextrackcoach.com. I feel like you've really missed out by not using Apex Pro all year, and now you have to listen to me talk about it all winter going, gosh, I wish I had one in front of me so I could understand this better. Well, now's your chance. apextrackcoach.com. Use our code 10tenths, get a free window mount. And then also keep an eye out on all the updates they've been doing with the Lap Timer Plus and the video recording. They seem to be coming out with new products and improving other products all the time. So yeah, if you are looking to get into data, like I've said many times, apextrackcoach.com. This is probably the best value for getting into data. If you don't want to just drop $1,000 on the new Garmin, you could spend less than half that on the Apex Pro.
You know what we need to do? Speaking of
what's that?
The Apex, we need to have Andrew back on.
We really do. He's been busy. Like he's done lots of cool shit.
Yeah,
he's been working on like Apex Pro's been doing a lot of stuff. He's been racing. I mean, he's been all over.
He bought a Land Rover. I'm sure that's keeping him busy.
Yeah, he's been working.
He probably has to fix that all the time.
His poor hands. I bet he's been working like crazy. Probably got like
scabs and not to get divorced yet that I'm aware of.
Yep. Oh man, by the time this comes out, it'll be like my 1 year anniversary. She survived a whole year with me. Isn't that crazy?
I'm so proud of her.
Yeah. Ha! Proved everybody wrong.
Oh, Jesus.
Take that, world.
Katie and I realized, how's this make you feel, Robbie? It's been a little over 10 years since we met.
You and Katie?
Yeah.
God, I feel old.
Right?
I remember.
Can you believe it's been that long ago?
No, I remember that day. God damn it. Yeah, that would have been like...
I mean, we aren't on our 10-year anniversary yet because we knew each other for probably 6 or 8 months before we started dating. But, yeah, it's been 10 years since I met her, since we met her.
You're right, because that would have been 2009, 2010.
Yep. Isn't that crazy?
Holy cow, as time flies.
We're getting old, Robbie. We are getting old.
Can I rant about being old for like 1 second?
Always. I mean, that's kind of what we do here.
Okay. This is the oldest I've felt for no reason at all.
Oh, I'm excited about this.
So I woke up Friday morning with a pain in my back.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I'm like, okay, just like it's between my shoulder blades. I'm like, man, yeah, my back feels out. But it feels like muscles. Like it's not like it just feels like my muscles have been pulled in my back. So I'm just kind of like all day, just kind of like messing with it. Don't think anything of it. Go do the. By the time I get to Nick's house to work on the Porsche, my back is fucking sore. Like I'm popping ibuprofen. Like I almost feel like my shoulder blade's swollen. No idea. So I get home Friday night after working on the Porsche and stuff, and it's like 11 o'clock, and I'm about to hop in the shower, and I look back in the mirror. It's like I got a bruise from the top of my shoulder blade down to the bottom of my shoulder blade that's brown, like someone had hit me with a baseball bat. It's a huge bruise on that follows the line of my shoulder blade, and then it's got like 4 dark bright red spots around the bruise. I have no idea what I did. It is now it's Wednesday moving into Thursday, so almost a full week. It's barely improved. I don't know.
That's very strange.
I don't know what I did. I can only assume that my wife, to celebrate our 1 year anniversary, is drugging me and punching me in the shoulder every night.
Just beating the crap out of you.
Just punching me, yeah. And can't do it in the head because that's too
Taking
obvious.
All those nurse frustrations out on you.
Just punching me in the back of the shoulder in this one spot over and over and over again. Obviously.
I knew there was something wrong with her.
Yep. Well, yeah, she married me.
Well, I mean.
But yeah, it's just like I feel really weird about it because like I didn't do anything to damage my shoulder. Now I'm hurting. I'm old. I'm falling apart. I don't know.
It's strange.
It is strange. Maybe, yeah. I thought my arm will stop working by the time this episode airs, and I'll actually have to go to the doctor. God, that'd suck. Speaking of news.
Yeah. So first up, Ford and GM both have brake recalls
for different reasons.
For drastically different reasons, but both doing them at the same time. And I was just like, how can we get this so wrong in so many different things from so many different companies?
I was really confused by Chevy's brake by wire thing. I had to look it up because I didn't quite understand it.
Just brake by wire in general, or the recall itself?
In general, I was trying to figure out because I was familiar with brake by wire as for the full electronic trailer brake, brake setups, but I wasn't quite as familiar with how they were doing it in vehicles. So I had to do a little bit of research to get my head wrapped around it.
I don't see why.
The grumpy old man in me, which I've just complained about being grumpy and old and painful, also doesn't quite understand it because it takes a system that's fairly simple and then makes it complicated. It's painfully German.
It is arguably the most important individual system in a car.
Yes.
The ability to bring that car to a safe and controlled stop is probably the most important single system in the vehicle.
Yeah. So for a brake by wire, it replaces the master cylinder, the brake booster. What else does it replace? There's 4 things that it replaces and turns into one electronic unit. So it takes a signal from so you hit the pedal, and then at the force at which you hit the pedal, it sends a signal to a controller, and that controller controls what basically be the module that has the master cylinder and everything in it, and then that sends the force of brake to a traditional fluid power system. So it takes the traditional master cylinder that's connected to the pedal and replaces it with an electronic system that controls it. But you can tune it. So I mean that you do have that performance upgrade, and it's dramatically lighter apparently.
Yeah. But
what I was just kind of looking at it going, so if this fails, does it fail in a way that makes it so that I just have the stiffest possible brake setting or the most weak possible, or is it automatically finicky as shit? Because if the sensor fails,
I think that there's a very real situation where the system could fail in a way that I will no longer have any brake at all.
That would be my concern. I mean, there has to be fail safes that I'm not thinking of that are built into it.
I'm sure there's got to be,
but I don't know, man. No, I'm right there with you because I'm thinking back to the cruise control or the brake pedal sensor in my Avalanche. It was not quite the same, obviously, but so if you hit the brakes, this cruise control or the switch would control the brakes, their brake lights, but your cruise control was run through that. And if that went bad, it would send a signal that was strong enough to kill your cruise control, but not strong enough to turn on your brake lights. I would imagine this sensor is not dramatically different.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I'm sure it totally is designed in a way that doesn't have that type of issue, but it sketches me out to think that you added 2 electronic things to a mechanical system.
Well, I just know how awesomely reliable our electronics are in general in this world. And it just I realized that the hydraulic brake system is far from flawless because,
for sure,
I guess in the same way that someone could argue that brake by wire system could fail and I can't stop, you could have that same potential problem with
fluid leaving your system
with a hydraulic system. If you have a leak, it's game. Which is one of the reasons I was always kind of surprised that some of these newer cars integrate but I guess they don't. Their parking brake, even though it uses the caliper, it's still it doesn't use the hydraulic part of it, though, does it?
No, I don't. Not all of them. No.
Yeah, I don't think
a lot of them are more like
I suppose
like a drum brake or a caliper.
Well, yeah,
spring.
but even like that's why you need scan tool to change the brake pads in Dalton's Camaro.
God, what a mess!
Because there's like an electric motor essentially that clamps down.
Huh?
That's not part of the hydraulic system.
Yep.
So I suppose that's still separately. So, but I don't know, man. It just seems weird to me, you know.
Yeah.
So Chevy is saying that in 670 of their Corvettes, as well as a number of CT4s, CT5s, XT4s, which are all Cadillacs, Buick Encores, and Chevy Trailblazers, that's they have some sort of material used between sensors that was contaminated during manufacturing at the supplier level.
So so they were covered in dust at the factory, and that's all it took to make them fail.
Yeah, and they could that could prevent important communication between the sensor and brake boost system.
That's where I want to know how they fail. I'm just curious as let's say the sensor fails. What is its default mode to go to? I'm just curious, like if the sensor, let's say it is dirty from the factory and it gets finicky and gets corroded or whatever, and it fails, does it mean the brakes stop working? I'm very intrigued as to what the safety back or their belt and suspenders setup they have on this.
I want to know. Let's see, so 2021 Corvette. Is it 2021 or 2020?
2020.
I think it's 2020, isn't it?
Yep.
2020. Come on, you piece of junk.
But while you're
I don't like this app, Robbie.
But while you're looking it up, I can't say that it's not a cool idea because it is. Because I mean, it changes the way the pedal feels based on like the driving mode, and I assume once you get to like the performance stuff, you can get a tuner that can totally change how that feels. So I mean, I assume there's a lot of performance benefits, but I think from a longevity type thing, it kind of the sensors controlling that is my only concern.
Okay, so this recall has not been updated on NHTSA's website yet. There are 2 recalls currently open on here. One of them is for the hood inadvertently opening.
The hood or the frunk?
It's the frunk.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Oh, wait, no, it might actually be the hood.
That'd be less bad because the wing will help hold it down.
Okay, an unlatched hood can open when driving above a certain speed, obstructing the driver's forward view.
Frunk. The frunk. Yeah, that'd be bad.
There's also a front trunk release may not work. If a person climbs inside.
Why do we even have that?
It's for if they're being kidnapped.
How often does that happen in a new Corvette?
It's never going to happen in a Corvette. You can't put a person in a
You can fit 2 golf bags in there. You can fit 2 golf bags in there.
Oh, shit, son. Really?
Yeah, that's one big body or 2 smaller bodies or like 2 cut up smaller bodies.
If a person climbs inside the front trunk compartment and closes the lid, they may be trapped inside, increasing a risk of injury.
I mean, I've watched Dalton do it in the back of his Corvette. So, I mean, he's at Hallett, he slept back there. So, I mean, it happens, I guess.
So this is a completely unrelated thing that reminded me of that has really been grinding my gears on Facebook as of late.
You know what really grinds my gears?
There's a meme going around. I originally saw it as a motorcycle, and now I've seen it with a picture of an older, 4x4 truck of some sort. And it says something about back in the day or something like that. Owner's manuals used to come with instructions on how to adjust valves. And now they come with warnings on on not drinking the battery contents or something like that, and talking about how much more stupid we've become.
Yeah, yeah.
And what grinds my gears about that statement is that, number one, at some point in the past, when we were allegedly smarter, because it's always shared by older people, right?
Yeah, the boomers.
Right. Okay, boomer. But in the past, at some point when we were allegedly smarter, somebody drank the contents of a battery, and now we have to have that warning.
Yep. There was a lawsuit.
Yep.
Yeah, we're seeing
and as time has progressed and we've gotten smarter and our technology has advanced, you no longer need to adjust the valves in your engine on a regular enough basis that it needs to have a instruction listing in the owner's manual.
Right.
So really, the things you're arguing about are exactly the opposite of the way you're trying to argue them. And every time I see that, I want to comment on it, and then I just decide, okay, boomer, and I leave it alone.
You're smart enough not to comment.
But
I get it.
It grinds my gears, Robbie.
You could just say, you know what really grinds my gears? Everything on the internet right now. And then I would completely agree. I was like, yeah, because fuck everybody on Facebook. And,
yeah.
You know, it is what it is. I get it. Even the people you agree with. Dude, they're fucking annoying.
Yep. So
that's why I stick to Instagram mostly. Honestly, if it wasn't for the podcast and the group, I would have absolutely deleted Facebook a long time ago.
Yeah,
for sure. So if you're on the group and you're listening to the show, you are the reason I still have Facebook. It's just because so I can communicate with you people. That's it.
And your
Facebook Marketplace
need for Marketplace.
Marketplace is the other reason.
Yeah,
but I could defriend everybody and stay on Marketplace.
That's fair.
Let's talk about Ford real quick.
Yeah, real quick. Apparently 38,000 Mustangs with automatic transmissions are being recalled for brake pedal brackets that could fracture.
Why are we making brake pedal brackets out of plastic?
Why are we making automatic Mustangs?
That's another great question. Great question. 38,000 of them.
I really thought that's what you were going to say, to be completely honest with you.
No, because I read through this and I had to look it up because it made no sense to me.
So are they plastic?
Yeah. So
Jesus.
So the recall is because on the automatic Mustangs, on the brake pedal, it's
look at that.
So I got
propylene brake pedal brackets instead of nylon, which resulted in reduced robustness to bike stop loading.
Yep. So if you slam on the brakes, so you got the brake pedal, which is metal like every other brake pedal ever, and then that attaches to what is a plastic bracket that gets bolted to the firewall, which I assume doesn't seem quite as much force as the brake pedal itself, but it still blows my mind that that's made out of plastic. Whether it's nylon or polypropylene, it's still weird to me that that's made out of plastic. Like how many cents are you saving?
Is that really cheaper than just making a stamped bracket? I don't know. What I assume is probably like an injection mold.
I would imagine it's injection
process.
molded.
Is it really that cheap? Much cheaper than a stamped?
Well, they had to do metal inserts for like the bolts and stuff. Like you can see in the picture. Like I pulled up like an eBay listing for one. This is off a 2015 Mustang, and like they have metal bolts going through the bracket, and they have like metal metal inserts and stuff for like where it connects everywhere, and it just kind of blows my mind that it's made out of plastic in the first place. Maybe it's more common than I ever realized, but it just seems really weird to me.
For those playing along at home, there are currently 4 recalls for 2020 Ford Mustangs, including the brake pedal bracket may fracture.
Yeah.
Distorted or inoperative rear view camera, reducing rearward visibility. A front-facing camera improperly calibrated. So if the driver is unaware of the pre-collision assist feature is not operating effectively, they may rely too heavily on the system that is not functioning. And then this one sounds really dumb too. An out-of-park warning message and chime is too short.
Too short.
So if the driver exits the vehicle without the transmission being shifted into park, unintended vehicle movement may result.
Yeah, if you leave it in gear, it'll keep going. I get it.
I don't know that you need a chime, because as I get out and the vehicle starts to drive away, that's a pretty good indication that it's not in park. I don't know that I need a chime or a dash warning to let me know.
The Edge has the opposite warning. It tells me it's not in park when it is in park, and it chimes. It says, please put in park. I'm like, it isn't park.
It's probably a recall.
It probably is a recall. It probably is. That's right.
I wasn't so frustrated and annoyed with this app. I'd look it up for you. I'm done with this app.
No, don't bother. But yeah, back to the Mustang. I can see why these feel they're plastic. It
shocks me that is. Like, that seems even dumber than all electric brake systems.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine it's bolted to the firewall, so it retains the strength of the firewall more often than not. And it doesn't actually like get, a lot of the force isn't necessarily against that bracket, but it still has to hold the pedal that you're about to stomp on. So that, you would think that that would not be an expensive piece to make.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird where you see people save money, then you get the recall, then you got to replace them all anyways. And then then if you got an accident, it's a lawsuit. Yeah. I thought that was super strange.
Speaking of accidents and lawsuits,
proposed
2021 NASCAR Cup Series could be pretty epic, Robbie.
It's going to be great.
So I don't think this is confirmed yet. They did some of these they were able to independently confirm with venues. But none of this is, I think, 100% confirmed. So, but according to a copy of the 2021 Cup schedule obtained by motorsport.com, with the majority of their dates being independently confirmed, the Cup Series will see more road racing, less races on intermediate tracks, and for the first time since 1970, a race on dirt.
It's going to be awesome.
That's so cool.
They're doing a, oh God, how we go? It was a half-mile course? Where's it out?
I don't remember.
It's not Dover, is it? I looked it up. Because they're doing the Charlotte Roval. They're doing...
Charlotte Roval looks so cool because it's a Roval with elevation changing.
That's
looks
such
like
a weird
Bristol,
track.
Which will be converted to a dirt track.
Yep, Bristol.
The last one was held at a half-mile State Fairgrounds Speedway in Raleigh, North Carolina.
That's the one I was thinking of, the half mile. I wasn't sure if that was right. But yeah, that'll be crazy to see these cars on a dirt track. I'm curious how the setups are going to go. Yeah,
they'll have to bring them up, I assume.
And change the tires, I would think.
Yeah, I would guess there's some tire changes, yeah. So, have they raced at Circuit of the Americas in the past? Did I just miss that?
If they did, I missed it because I don't think they have.
Okay.
There's a picture of a Haas stock car in the
but that might have just been some testing,
I would assume. But yeah, I don't think they have.
Those cars at COTA would be cool.
That'd be a fun race to watch.
It'd be a great sound.
Yeah, as I'm getting older and they do more of this stuff, I'm getting more and more into NASCAR.
Well, they're almost kind of slowly making their way towards the Australian V8 supercars, or just Australian supercars, I guess, racing, which is cool.
It's fun to watch.
As I scroll through this, Circuit of the Americas, Sonoma, Road America,
Lime Rock? No, that's not right.
There's a bunch. Charlotte Roval.
Yep. There's one on there that I thought was weird.
Quickly see right away. So it's still predominantly Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course
and Watkins Glen. That's what I was thinking of. Watkins Glen.
Yep, there you go. Look at that. I missed that one. So it's still predominantly ovals.
Of course, it's NASCAR, but the fact that they're throwing in these better road courses is going to be really fun to watch, and that dirt race will be fun.
Dirt racing will be interesting. But yeah, I think this is cool. I'm excited about this. This is, this might be worth paying a little bit of attention to for once.
Yep. I completely agree.
Especially as I'm not so sure that Formula One's going to be all that good. I mean, there's some weird rumors floating around, and I don't know, man, stuff can get weird. I've seen and read rumors about Mercedes talking about maybe bowing out. I don't know.
No, ever since they signed the Concord agreement, everyone's in. So there's no that rumor is squashed.
Okay.
Yep. So moving forward, the same teams will be in. You got Aston Martin coming in next year. So
yep, that'll drop moves to Aston Martin.
Yep. So I mean, we'll see if they come to America next year. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the new regulations when they finally get there.
Yeah. So I don't know. It could be cool.
I have high hopes. So good for you, NASCAR. You've piqued my interest in the last couple of years.
They definitely have been struggling. You know, I think viewership is way down, and they've struggled with a lot of things. And, you know, I think that, I think that they had to do something. This seems like the right thing.
Yeah, they weren't keeping up with the times, and I think that they were falling behind on what people wanted to be watching. And then, I don't know how when the new ownership or when they came in, they've kind of changed things in the last few years, and it's definitely showed. I haven't been paying attention, but I'm starting to.
I have had a few like coworkers and stuff like that are NASCAR people that I've known through the years who have said, like, I actually really kind of enjoy watching the road course stuff, like, you know, and I think they're starting to understand that it's fun to watch.
It is, for sure. Well, one of my coworkers makes masks and gives them away. She goes, "Hey, I made this one. It's got a, you know, you like racing. This one's got NASCAR on it, so you can have it." I'm like, actually, like 2 years ago, I would have said no, but like this year, I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I actually do watch some now.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell?
Yeah.
So, I think that's all I got.
That's all I got, man. I'm tired. I'm always tired. I'm old and tired.
Yeah, it's 10:30. I didn't realize it's that late already. So,
I will let you. I don't know. You're probably gonna go to work. I'm going to bed.
Nah, I don't have to go to work this week.
Nice.
I got to go to bed.
Nice.
I got to work tomorrow night. I worked last night.
Gotcha. Well, we'll both go to our separate beds, and then we will catch everyone else next week.